Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Cafecito and Kane show. You know the drill, like, subscribe, all that stuff. So it's June 17th. We are just 2.5 months away from the season starting. And right around this time of the season is where the hype really starts building up. It really starts reaching a fever pitch. These last couple of years, I've gone into the season with hopeful optimism, try to come from the most objective view possible, looking at the roster. And I got to tell you, I've always been someone who tries to avoid drinking the Kool-Aid going into the season. I try to give my honest opinion. But this season, more than other seasons, the temptation to drink the Kool-Aid is so strong. I mean, I won't say anything more. Let's dive in. So you got all these publications, all these outside media people in college football, not part of the Canes fan base, not Canes YouTubers. These are impartial parties that are coming in and saying, yeah, we're expecting Miami to have a really good season, assuming they stay healthy. They got Cam Ward, back-to-back top 10 classes. Mario's in his third year. Usually that's the year you see the big jump for a new coach. So I decided to sit down and kind of study, like break down some of these outlooks from other publications. So let's start with one of the biggest ones, maybe the biggest one in the sport, Phil Steele. A lot of people look to his, read his magazines and look to his previews as like the standard because he tends to be either right on point or pretty close. So I looked up his prediction for us last year before reading any further. And this is a direct quote from him, well, more or less, this is basically what he said. Miami has talent, has the right coach, but have this is last season, 3 ACC road games and a game against Clemson, and may still be a year away from making an actual title run in the ACC. Again, that was 2023 before the season started. I would say he was pretty accurate. We end up finishing 7-5. He had us finishing right around 30th last year. I don't know what the final ranking is. It's hard to, you got to manually go and look that up if you finish outside of the top 25, but not too far off from where we actually finished. So he was pretty on point. This year, Phil Steele has us finishing number 10. Okay. Or he either has us finishing number 10 or he has us number 10 right now. But I think that's where he has us finishing. That's his prediction. And then he has 7 Hurricanes in his preseason ACC first team all ACC. Guys like Cam Ward, X, CC Maui Noah, Andy, all the names that have been thrown out there, Damian Martinez. He has also Ruben Bain and Simeon Barrow on his team. Go to the next one, Lindy Sports, which is another big publication that people look to as one of the standards out there for college football. They have 6 Canes in their first team all ACC. Pretty consistent. Again, Cam Ward, X, Andy, Kiko, CC Maui Noah, and Damian Martinez. On their second team, they have 4 more. They have Jacoby George, Jalen Rivers, Ruben Bain, and Inez Cooper. 10 guys, either all ACC first team or second team. I believe we would lead the conference in that regard. I can't remember the last time we had that many all-conference guys finishing that high. I don't think there ever was a time, maybe 04, 05. I'd have to go back and look. But that's some pretty high praise, again, from 2 publications that have no investment in the program. These are third-party sources. And, third-party sources that had us improving last year, but still kind of a year away. That was the perception. Again, they ended up being right. Uncle Lou on YouTube, shout out to him. I love watching his schedule predictions and breakdowns on certain teams. You can tell he does his homework. If you go to 2023, he had us finishing 6-6 last year. We did a little better, 7-5, really a kneel down away from 8-4. So better than he expected. But he's a guy that doesn't, tends to not buy into the hype. He's kind of, show me first. He had us finishing 6-6 last year. This year, go through his schedule breakdown. He actually has us finishing 10-2. That really got my attention because, again, he's a guy that's really he's not ready to jump on that hype train and give us praise until we deserve it. And he even said, I think he has us losing to Virginia Tech in his prediction, which I actually have us losing to Virginia Tech in my prediction, but he has us losing that game. And he said it for the simple reason that we're all thinking Miami just tends to lose that game for whatever reason. Just on that alone, I can tell, okay, you do your homework. Of course, all the other sources, Josh Pate from On3, from 247, JD Piquel from On3, they're giving us a lot of high praise. A lot of other shows, Coach Hayes, I know he's a Canes YouTuber, but also big shout out to him. Great channel. He's a notorious non-Kool-Aid drinker. He does not buy into the hype. Last year, I forgot where he had us finishing, probably 7-8 wins. I know it wasn't anything high. I know people got on him for his low prediction, and he was saying, it takes like 4 or 5 years to really turn the thing around. Even he came on our show, or our show with Flo, one of the two. He talked to us and he was like, yeah, no, it's 10 wins or bust. And we looked at him like, wait, what? You're saying that? So that also got my attention. He's saying, 10 wins or bust. We got to start raising the standard. And I agree with him. And then, of course, this is the voice that I listen to the most when, when there's two ends of the spectrum, there's people hyping the team, there's people down. Larry Bluestein is like, the guy has forgotten more football than we will ever know. He's been around the game, I don't know how many years. And even he came out and said, I don't know if he gave an actual number as far as win total. Maybe he threw out like a 9 or 10, like an approximation. But even he's predicting us to have a lot of wins this year and make a big jump. Last year, go back to old Locked On Canes episodes. He'll go on there and he'll be like, yeah, no, I see us probably having like a 6 or 7 win season. We still have a ways to go. We still have some depth to build. Even he came out and said that we're going to make a huge jump. And again, he might have said a number as far as wins. If he did, it was high. Okay. So I don't know. I'm so tempted to just jump on this train. I'm like, you know what? Why not? 11-1, 12-0. Why not? The schedule lends itself to it. Our toughest games are Florida and Florida State. Hands down, there's a big drop off after that. Yes, by my own admission, I will say Virginia, and I'll stand by this. Virginia Tech is a much better team this year. Georgia Tech is a much better team this year. Both also going into their third seasons with their new coaches. USF, I mean, that scrambling quarterback is no joke. That's not going to be easy up in Tampa. But really, if we have the roster that we say we have, and I believe we do, then really, if we come to play, if we're prepared, and that's going to be the key, if we are prepared, then those games should be no problem. Those games should be over late third quarter, early fourth quarter. There should be some blowout victories that we see freshmen out there, not just the FAMU game. I'm talking like 4 or 5 conference games that we see the freshmen out there in the fourth quarter because the game's over. So my expectations are high. And you know what? Yeah, maybe I am drinking the Kool-Aid this time. But there's differences. For like what you're probably asking if you're a more negative fan, which, hey, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. This team has let me down before. But this is why things are different now. We have a quarterback for the first time in God knows how long. A quarterback of this caliber, I mean. And we have money. And I'm talking at the program level. We have money now. That's something we've never had. That's something Mario Cristobal brought. He brought Power 5 money to the program. And with collectives and NIL and all that stuff, this is something proper funding is something we've never had before. It started a couple of years ago. It takes a minute for it to trickle down to the field. It doesn't happen overnight, but we're starting to see it trickle down to that field where you look at the starting lineup, you look at the two deep, and we're kind of loaded at certain positions. I haven't seen us with this much depth in a long time. So yeah, from an objective standpoint, I look at this team and I'm like, look, if you come out of fall camp healthy, there is no reason you shouldn't be favored in every single game this year. Could you slip up? Maybe a Louisville, a Va Tech? Sure. And you know what? I expect us to slip up once or twice. But that's not the standard. That shouldn't be the standard anymore. And it would not shock me one bit if we win 11 games. Look, the 2017 team started 10-0. Is that roster anywhere near what we have now? Quarterback, we're better this season than 2017. Running back, we're better this season, especially if Mark Fletcher's healthy. Even if he's not, you still have man, I'm blanking on his name. The new tight end. Yeah, it'll come to me. You have him playing some running back, and he looked really good. Chris Johnson, Chris Wheatley-Humphrey, Jordan Lyle, AJ Allen. You're loaded at running back. We're more loaded with proven wide receivers than we've been in a very long time. All three of our guys are our starters. Our top three guys on the roster all had right around 800 yards last season, or at least 800 yards. X had 1,000. And that brings me actually to my final point. PFF. If you look at PFF's ratings, like they ranked the position groups, right now they have Miami Hurricanes as a top 10 offensive line. They have us as number 8. Okay. They have our receiver group as number 7. Again, Restrepo, 1,100 yards. Jacoby George, he had second most yards after the catch in the ACC last season with 540. That's after the catch. Sam Brown had over 800 yards in the Big 12. Tons of experience. It's not like, oh, this guy was really good in high school. Oh, he showed a couple flashes as a freshman. Maybe. No. Proven guys at the college level. Number 3 at D-line. Because you got Tyler Barron, Ruben Bain, Elijah Alston, Akeem Mezid. I mean, people are noticing, guys. That's my point. Not going to drill on too long about that. People are starting to notice. And when it's PFF, when it's Larry Bluestein, when it's Phil Steele, when it's all these big names, big publications, it's hard not to jump on the hype train. And you know what? I'm starting to jump on the hype train. But that's just my 2 cents on that. I thought I'd come in here and look it up for myself and kind of put it all together on paper and break it down. And you know what? If any of these things are any indication, of course, anything can happen. But if any of these things are any indication for what's about to happen this season, I think we're in for a fun one. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Please hit the like button on the way out, and I will see you guys soon. Go Canes.